Every year at Congregation, UBC has the honor of bestowing honorary degrees upon individuals who, in the opinion of the university community, have fit the criteria of excellence and eminence in their chosen field. Professor Dr. Peter Agre is one of those individuals, and I invite him to step forward to receive his honorary doctorate. Mr. Chancellor, Professor Peter Agre is a remarkable combination of eminent physician-scientist and diplomatic agent for change. A renowned molecular biologist and distinguished professor at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, he is best known for his discovery of aquaporins, the proteins that regulate and facilitate the transport of water molecules across cell membranes. For this discovery, he and Dr. Roderick McKinnon were jointly awarded the 2003 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. As the director of the Johns Hopkins Malaria Research Institute, he is using his discovery of aquaporins to understand the role the protein plays in the parasite that causes malaria. His work focuses on finding innovative ways to target and treat disease, which causes nearly 1 million deaths annually. Dr. Agre has also demonstrated a deep commitment to improving relations with the most isolated and insular nations of the world through scientific diplomacy. While serving as president and chair of the Board of Advisors of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, he led a series of science diplomacy visits to Cuba, North Korea, Myanmar, and Iran, with the hopes of fostering exchanges and collaborations on peaceful scientific projects. He was also a founding member of Scientists and Engineers for Change, and was one of 72 Nobel laureates to appeal for climate protection as an initial signatory of the Maunau Declaration 2015 on climate change. In addition to his honorary doctorate today, he has received 19 honorary degrees, is a member of the National Academy of Sciences USA, the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, the American Philosophical Society, and the National Academy of Medicine, previously referred to as the Institute of Medicine. Mr. Chancellor, in recognition of extraordinary contributions to medical and scientific research and to international diplomacy and for peace on earth, I ask you to confer the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, upon Peter Agre.
By authority of the Senate of this university, I confer upon you, Peter Agre, the title and degree Doctor of Science honoris causa.
It now gives me great pleasure to ask a former colleague at Johns Hopkins, Dr. Professor Agre, to give a few words to the graduating class. Dr. Agre.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. President Ono, Chancellor Gordon, distinguished faculty, guests, friends, and graduates, I am thrilled to be here with you. So I've been asked to say a few words of wisdom to this distinguished group, which is hard to give advice to successful young people. But I thought I would spend a moment to remind you always to remember who you are, where you came from, and who got you here. And concentrating on the latter, because I think it's our family and our friends that really make things work. So I'm going to share an amusing story, a couple of personal experiences to illustrate this. The story was first told by Michael Brown from the University of Texas to explain how to win a Nobel Prize. Listen up, it has a lot to do with how to succeed in life. So as the story goes, a Nobel laureate and his wife are on vacation, driving in one of the national parks. Serious older man at the wheel, his wife demure in the front seat. Running low on petrol, they stop at a convenience store. The laureate is filling up the tank, self-service. His wife is in the front seat of the car and sees through the windshield an elderly hippie leaving the convenience store. Old man with stringy hair and a homemade earring, and she recognizes the hippie. She runs across the parking lot, throws her arms around him, kisses him, hugs him, and the laureate is pumping gas. Darling, it's time to go. Back in the car, the laureate is irritated. He turns to his wife and says, "What was that all about?" And now with a tear in her eye, she says, "Darling, I never told you this, but before I met you, I was in love with that man and we were going to be married." The laureate snaps, said, "Well, it's a good thing you didn't. You'd be stuck here nowhere. And as you know, I won the Nobel Prize." To which the wife responds, "Dear, you don't understand. If I'd married him, he would have won the Nobel Prize." Just think about it. Your current relationship, this could be the one. And of course, with the emergence of women in all professional, corporate, and academic life, this story will be told in the future about a Nobel laureate and her husband driving in the desert. So in our personal experiences, we work incredibly hard. And sometimes we make great progress and we come to a blockade. And in our laboratory research, studying red cell membranes, we came to a point where we discovered a new protein, but we didn't know what it did. We were stuck. And I talked to scientists to get a clue. It was an abundant protein. We thought it was a channel in the cell membrane, but we were stuck, and there was no future unless we could figure out what the protein did. And this is where the work-life balance enters in. Because every summer, my wife Mary, who's here with me today, would organize a camping trip for the children. We have 4 children. And we would go to the national parks, the provincial parks, Kejimkujik, the Quetico Wilderness. We had a wonderful time, and Mary said, "Why don't we ask the children which national park they'd like to go to next year?" So we did. And the children all chimed, "Disney World," which is not a national park. But families are not obligate democracies, so we went to the Everglades, and then spent a few days in Disney World, and on the way back to Baltimore, a long drive, we spent the night in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where I'd worked for a few years, and we had friends and colleagues, and it was a conversation there that gave me the idea this new protein was the water channel protein that President Ono talked about. And the work blossomed. It explains how we can make cerebrospinal fluid to bathe the surface of our brains, fill the orbits of our eyes with aqueous humor, protect the surface with tears, humidify our airways, how we can concentrate urine, how plants can take water up from the ground. And it led to a call early in the morning, some years later, pleasant voice with a Swedish accent informing me that I would share the Nobel Prize in chemistry. In 10 minutes, there was to be a press conference. I sprinted for the shower, and Mary, all was organized, called back to Minnesota to talk to my mother. In her 80s, living alone, my dad, a chemistry professor, had died some years before, and talked to my mother to explain what was happening. Mother's reaction was interesting. She said, "Mary, that's very nice, but don't let this go to Peter's head." Good advice. There's a more important issue, and that's to do things of use, of value to society. Mother's 93, she's still giving me good advice. And my charge to the young people here is listen carefully. You never know when the breakthrough in your life will be provided, and it might be a conversation with your children, with your spouse, but they certainly will figure into this. So with that, let me thank you again for this wonderful honor to be with you. It's just a joy. God bless.